What's up, everybody? This is another episode of Duval Against y'all. We're gonna talk about the Browns game, man. First, of course, you want to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and all the jack. Follow me on X at the that's in the corner here. But now we're gonna get into this game. This is a game we should have won. We easily won. Should have won. There's been some bad decisions all around, but first, I think the biggest culprit that we got to talk to is going to be the offensive line. We knew this offensive line was not going to be great going in. We had hope that starting Mitch Morse over Fluke Fortner was going to help. Is going to improve the line as a whole when it wasn't the only issue. It's just not a good line. There's some coaching techniques that are not great. Especially if you watch us in short yardage, it looks like we kind of just don't look for the guy, just kind of dive for it, hope the guy sees it, that the defenders don't see it and like get hit. Which is not working. Some of these plays that we could have easily hit, if Trevor had a split second more, it doesn't matter because Cam Robinson's getting beat up. Side. Antoine Harrison has having a bad opening to sophomore season. Brandon Sheriff's shot. He's not like he was when he was in Washington. He's not this elite guard anymore. Mitch Morse is okay, but again, the center on one guy's and Ezra Cleveland had a bad block for that basically resulted in the safety play. Which who knows if that changes. It's only a 3-point game. Could kick the field goal instead of having to score a touchdown. It's bad. The play calling is bad. This whole offense as a whole is just bad. Honestly, I'm almost at the point. I don't know what we have in Trevor. I know what we have Bryant, but again, I still have faith in Trevor. A lot of people are blowing this at Trevor. It's like, oh, he's still a leader. I mean, there's only so much you can do if the second you hike the ball, there's guys in your face. He does need to work on his awareness, and he does need to work on his pocket awareness. He has reduced his fumbling, it looks like, because there was this one sack that Myles Garrett got off of Cam Robinson, and years past Trevor's fumbling that. So that looks improved. But the team as a whole, offensively, 13 points, 17 points in week one. It's not acceptable. Christian Kirk, I don't know what's up with Christian Kirk. He has 7 targets and he only has 2 catches, 2 games when he was always our biggest guy. I don't know. He's getting drops, he was never a drop guy. It's just I don't know what's going on. Every play call, it seems like is late. That's another issue. To go away from the weapons, to go to coaching for a minute. I don't know if Press is trying to call a play and then Doug overrules him, or if they're both in Trevor's ear, but it looks like it's too much. And Trevor's trying to get to it and then trying to change the play because whatever was called isn't going to work in this situation. He's trying to make adjustments, and there's like 2 seconds left and they're to waste timeouts. Which is unacceptable. This is year 3 in this offense. They should not be this issue. Again, this is just going off of what I've seen. I think this is a Press Taylor issue. Which in turn is a Doug issue because Doug won't get rid of Press Taylor. This is why Doug left Philly. Because he refused to let Press Taylor go. Which I get it. He's your friend and everything, but there comes a point you got to take care of yourself. The reason why I say it's more Press is year 1, this offense, this wasn't an issue. That first year with Doug, when we made it with the playoff run and everything, this wasn't an issue. And now all of a sudden, last year, there was flare-ups of it when Press took over, and now this year it's back. Doug won't admit who's calling plays at this time, but with the same issues, it's too much. Which I don't know if that's playing a role. It shouldn't with Kirk, but something's off. Like he's not hearing the play enough time. Because Kirk has one more year on his or his deal's going to be up soon. And if he's doesn't do it, we'll let him go. Just because with Brian Thomas Jr., who looks amazing when he gets the ball, that's another issue I feel like has arisen. Last year when Kirk went down, we kind of fed Ridley a little bit too much. Just because it was him and Ingram were basically the only receiving options. We need to do this. We need to do that with Brian Thomas Jr. This dude's getting open, and either Trevor doesn't have the time, so that's the offensive line issue, or the play calling is bad, and Trevor's just having to eat it. That needs to be fixed. He needs to be getting fed the ball. The dude can fly, and he's getting open. Give him the ball. You saw week 1 beating Ramsey. He had a 66-yarder. And then another 28 yards. We had like 2 catches for like 98 yards. It was crazy. Get this kid the ball. Gabe Davis is getting more targets. I'm not sure. I feel like Trevor's kind of looking at him a little more, trying to get him involved. I feel like this is kind of like the issue. Like, again, we had it with early season Ridley last year. We'll see how that ends up. It's not great, Gabe Davis, yet, but we'll see. It's still early. But again, none of us expect the offense to be this bad. We knew the line was an issue, but we didn't think it was this big of an issue. Even in the red zone, Brian Thomas is getting open. The offensive line isn't blocking for long enough for Trevor to see it. I personally feel like we shouldn't have kept the offensive line coach the last few years. He felt like he should have gone too. The line's not good. It's not good. It looks like it's not getting better. But that was on the offense. The defense had moments that they didn't do well. Some of the tackling isn't great still. Cisco's missing tackles. Antonio Johnson, who again I vouched for last year, I feel like he should have started. He's missing tackles. The D line's getting pressures, but again, we're not getting sacks. There was a play that Deshaun Watson was just running around back there because no one could get him down. But that's the thing. I do have a couple complaints on the defense, and one of the biggest one, of course, is going to be on the DC. Ryan Nielsen. The rotating was a tad too much. There shouldn't. Foye Luakon should be playing every play, or like 97% of the plays. Like if he gets gas, get him out and then come back in. Greg Lloyd or Devin Lloyd should be playing 85% of the snaps. That needs to not. I don't know if they're trying to save him so they don't get hurt, but our depth is not good enough to hold up without at least one of those guys in the field at all times. Ventrell Miller, who's good on special teams, and Caleb Johnson's good on special teams, doesn't need to be playing on defense yet. They should only be playing during injuries or if one of the stars is gassed. If that's the issue, if they're already getting gassed this early in the season, we have bigger issues to worry about. The D-line, the only big issue I had, which looking at some of the snap count analysis I've seen, is Devon Hamilton needs to be playing more. War Robinson Harris probably should be playing less. He's a good pass. He's a decent to below average pass rusher, but his run blocking, he gets pushed back too much for my liking. Eric Armstead's still coming back, so I get him being on a limited count, but there's going to be a time we're going to have to up his count. Because he's a pretty good, decent, or he's the best D tackle we have on the team, even though he's more of an end as well. But I don't know. The issue with putting him at end, which is I like some like third downs and moving Walker inside, is him and Walker are generally more power rushers. So there's only going to be one speed guy on the other, and Josh Hines Allen, and he's still not the greatest at being the speed guy. Is more speed to power. So that's going to help. Josh Allen had a good game. He didn't get the sack numbers, but like the pressures and his pro football focus records was really high. So I can't get mad at him. And then with the depth hitting our cornerback room, which we knew was going to be an issue, especially with Tyson going down again with his hamstring. And Savage getting hurt kind of hurt us a little bit. And then some of the rookies had to play a little more. Trent Brown is playing his butt off. He's probably can. If it just Campbell went down, I feel like our defense would have been fine. But with Savage and having a rookie out on with Jared Jones, who had decent, was up and down. It just wasn't quite what we need. But that's with the defense is fine. The special teams, Devin Duvernay is not really doing much, which is kind of sad because we paid him. And a lot of people like bring Agnew back. Agnew's not coming back. Even if he wants to, I don't think. Even if the team want him, I don't think he wants to. Just going off of his interactions on social media, I think he's kind of mad with Jacksonville. Which again, he did have the fumble issue, which isn't good as a receiver. You don't want someone that's fumbling issues, which Duvernay does seem to have. And one positive, the Agnew plays that was called him are scrapped, even though I feel like Duvernay was faster and he's a better receiver, so they make more sense to have him than it would have been for Agnew. But again, Prescott Taylor and Doug Pearson are not meshing. Going on another rookie, Mason Smith not playing, which shocked all of us. And then all the rumors coming out that the DC didn't like him, and then Balky was trying to force it. So Doug Pearson said, "Fine, he's just not going to play at all." Which, if that's true, that's ridiculously petty. Both of them need to go. That's too much. Neither of these guys need to be in position of power, which is kind of funny considering Trent Balky with the GM is known for beefing with head coaches, and Doug Pearson was kicked out of Philly for beefing with the GM. So if some of this news is coming out, we should have seen that coming too. If it comes down to it, I'm torn because that one part of me feels like if we go 0-4, you gotta get at least fire Press Taylor is what needs to happen. But since Doug won't leave, or Doug won't coach without Press Taylor there, we're gonna fire Doug. And then have probably Ryan Nielsen take over, which wouldn't be half bad. Just going off of his aura, for lack of a better word. And then you got the question of, do you fire Trent Balky? I know we called from early, but this draft seemed decent. Seemed decent at some of these drafts, so we'll see. Part of me almost feels like if this is the season that, like, if the season doesn't turn around quickly, Doug or Mr. Khan needs just clean house. Get it. Don't bring everybody back, which sucks because I really like Ron Nielsen as our DC. But to be honest, I feel like it's best we always do these half measures, like promote, and I feel like we just need to tear it down. Or if Nielsen stays, nobody on the offensive side stays. We got to flip like we did last year. Nobody on the offense needs to still be here from a coaching standpoint, which is unfortunate. Maybe Chad Hall, the receivers coach. I know he's kind of respected throughout the league, but we'll see how this goes. Again, I know this is early, but I'm just saying if it does not clean up, this is the outcomes we're going to have. No excuse losing to the Dolphins. No excuse losing to the Browns. It's just bad play calling, bad execution. I know Doug seems to be feeling the heat lately during some. If you watch his body language, the press conferences, he said something about that they have talented players on the team, and eventually they'll get it. And then Travis Etienne even came out later and said, it doesn't matter if we are talent, we need hard workers. So I feel like that's aimed at somebody, team that they feel like it's not working, they're pulling their weight. Which I feel like Trevor's a hard worker. I feel like the receivers are. I feel like Etienne and Tank basically are. So it must be someone offensive line maybe. It looks like maybe Antonio Harrison came out a bit out of shape, so maybe that has something to do with him. He's going to play his way back into shape, which that's year one. After year one, and you're out of shape. That's an issue. I'm not sure what we could do to fix the offensive line at this point. Short of starting Walter Little again instead of Cam. I've said for a minute that I feel like we should try it, even if it's like a couple plays. Put Cam Robinson at guard, and then have Walter Little. That's like Walter Little is a better power or better against speed guys than Cam is, and Cam is better against power guys generally. So that's kind of a hard, especially like who do you want to play type situation. But with the way the line's playing, something has to change. I don't know if you want to try to put Cooper Hodges up at guards for some plays. Because the Lions thing is continuity, so you don't want to mess up too much. But there comes a point we got to mix it up. This line is going to get Trevor killed and then end the season. Not sure what else. That's probably the best. If they can get time. Brian Thomas is usually getting open deep. Gabe Davis was getting open deep. Evan Ingram, hopefully his hamstring's not too bad. He should be open around the middle. This offense is, unless our plays are getting that predictable that teams just, they're going to run this, they're running this every time, then then something has changed, because this is not acceptable. This is not what we were trying to do. Show that this is Jacksonville's not the same old Jags. So this needs to change. I don't know who's going to step up. Someone on the team to step up and say this is unacceptable. I did like seeing some of the fire from Trevor with Doug Pearson, which if Doug's yelling back, that's the Carson Wentz situation in Philly. So this may be the end for Doug, even if we pull this out. But I feel like he's starting to lose some of the locker room, and once the locker room's lost, it's done. Which is, like I said, there are some guys. I feel like Chad Hall, the receivers coach, is a good coach. I feel Ryan Nielsen in that defense, I feel like coaching group, I feel like has become really good. The defense is flying against the ball. I feel like a lot of us is just we don't have the guys for certain games he wants to run. But this needs to get cleaned up. That's all I gotta say. It needs to get cleaned up fast before people start losing their jobs. If they want to stay in, if these coaches want to stay in Jacksonville, these players want to stay in Jacksonville, if the players want to have a good season, it's time to step up. We have lost Campbell seems the only one that's going to be out for a long period of time. So step up. If Savage comes back, hopefully the slot's fixed. Ingram, hopefully he's just Nick, and he'll be back this week, hopefully on Monday, especially with another night with Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills, who we usually play good. If we play bad against the Bills, season done. 0-3. It's almost hard to crawl out of that hole. On top of the fact, the team that we usually always play tough, we lose to. Trevor's good on prime time. Stats back it up. His only really big turnover, I think, was the Sunday night against the Ravens. I think was his only big, this fumble run, if I remember correctly, and I may be wrong on this. Make sure if I am, comment below. Feel like he hasn't had an interception in any of the primetime games. But it's time to step up. The world's watching. Say, all right, those 2 weeks worked out some kinks. We're back. Whatever it takes. If it takes Doug just calling plays the whole game, fine. If Fresh calling the plays, don't think it's going to work, but fine. But one person needs to be cleaned up. Plays need to be in. Boom. Plays in line. And if we're not going right away, like unless we're going to be a hurry up, which that's when the offense looks better, when we run a hurry up. So, like a 2-minute drill, then that's what it needs to take. If that's what it looks like the offense is better, run that the entire game. Let Trevor and then the other receivers call plays and just go. There are obviously there's going to be times with that coach, but if they like it, let it run. But like I said, no, we got to show the work. This isn't what we were looking for this year. We're at the Jaguars. This is better than this is their 30th anniversary, Steve too. No, need to be better. Well, that's just going to be it on my little recap on this. My reaction for this game. Hopefully, I'll hit y'all up next week after a win. But make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget the notification bell. And just always remember, it's